How do you do, GPot crew? It's your nutty buddy putty here. And boy, am I clipping right here on my right hand side. Oh, I got snapped. Oh. Anyway, welcome to my review of What If Season 2. Now, before I get into it, if you guys don't realize, first thing, this is a new way I'm doing my videos. I'm using Zoom as a recording device because I like the background filter thing. And I did it with my Aquaman review, but not many people said whether they liked it or not. So hopefully this will be a difference of opinion. I'll get some votes on how you feel about this. But this week also is going to be a busy week because I'm uploading two videos that I haven't won. One of a game show. Yeah, you heard me right. A game show I never uploaded that I really do want to go back to. And the RLG cast, both JD and JD and Campo loved it, but we wanted to kind of fix it up, and I never posted it. Plus, I also did an update of our Marvel, the state of Marvel, and I just never uploaded these. Life has gone crazy, but today I actually have some time to get this video done as well as some other stuff. Plus, we have the Echo review that hopefully will come out this Sunday. So be ready for that. But today you're here for What If Season 2. Not for me to promote my other stuff that's happening. You want to see what I think about What If Season 2. And that's what we're here for. So first and foremost, if you haven't watched the season, please understand this is straight up spoilers. Everything I'm going to talk about is going to be based on me talking about spoilers in this review. And then two, I do want to go ahead and put it out there that um, there's a lot of female empowerment in the series, and I don't want anyone to say based on my review whether it's good or bad that anything I might say that people will go, oh, well, it's because this. No, it's not because of that. Because I love all my female characters. I actually praise a lot of these characters, but I also will be going into detail of things I hate and do not like, or do not like and do like when it comes to this series and just this season as a whole as well. But before you get into this, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I've delayed too much. Did I enjoy this? I feel I did enjoy this way better than season one, but I do have some things I want to go into. So I want to put this out there. Spoilers I stated are going to be in this. I may not reveal it towards the end, but I just want to say one word. What if Marvel decided to add some things from the comic books? And I'm not talking about the What If comic books, but I'm just talking about in general the comic books. Here's my gripe about when it comes to this. I understand the MCU is Disney's baby. That's where they started all their Marvel stuff. But there's this sudden thing where it's like we'll pull stuff from Marvel Comics, but when we get to the animated stuff, oh no, we need to make sure we stick with the MCU. And I feel like this honestly hurts it because you're focusing on a new demographic, on getting new crowds that only watch the movies and not realizing you're hurting the demographic that got you started. A lot of people don't realize is they love the MCU and I'm clipping so badly in this, but they love the MCU so much, and I do too. But think about this: those people that went out and saw Iron Man, half of those were people that never seen much Marvel movies. The other half were people that actually read the comic books of Iron Man and all these other characters that weren't like the X-Men or had a cartoon as much. I mean, Iron Man did have a cartoon, but it wasn't as big as the X-Men cartoon. We put that out there. That's just fact. And so the frustrating thing for me is there's some good stories in this, but there's such a target on what if the MCU and not what if in general. And let me say this. I'm going to use an example of this. Let's look at, and this is not really a good idea, but this is the first one that popped in my head. Bucky Barnes from the comic books is a kid. So you have a very, very demographic young child people of watching this What If series. So what if Bucky was a kid, just like in the comic books? These are ideas that you can throw in there to throw hints of the comic books and make people like myself go, oh, this is cool. I love it. I get to see what my favorite version of the comic book is that I'll never get in the movies. Prime example, Bucky Barnes as a kid will never happen in the movies. So give us a what if episode of this. And this is the reason why I brought up the whole female empowerment. This season is about female empowerment. This is what I actually feel like makes it good. The Agent Carter or Captain Carter situation, love it. The new character, Kahori, which she's right here, is an amazing new added character. I love Kahori. This is probably my favorite character of this What If series. Hella, new version of Gamora's in my head. But anyway, my point is, for some reason I can't get Gamora out of my head. even though that's not Gamora. Nebula, sorry, Nebula. But my point to the whole thing is this: I enjoy the female empowerment of this, but there's just something off. Like it still feels like they're redeeming themselves with the Watcher. Like I don't get involved. Bitch, you got involved last season. You already broke that mold. Don't try to go back and say I don't disturb things. You already did it. You already disturbed the flow of things. You already got involved. Taking that away is not fixing the problem. I feel like Marvel is losing sight of what it made What If so great. You know what I mean? Taking origin stories and flipping them on their head. Now they do use the origin stories from the MCU, but why not hint a little bit of origin stories in the comic book? Let the new world know what the comic book had, and you could use these. Like when I thought about what if as a series, I thought there's so many things they can do here when it comes to taking characters I love and showing you what if they actually got the original origin story. That's a great what if story. We're never going to get that. We're not going to actually get those origin stories. So, what if you gave us those origin stories in a what if episode? I think it's a good idea. That means people that actually think, "Oh, I learned something new." And I think what it is everyone has totally new what ifs that don't exist in the comic book world. But then you could still play with the whole thing. Like, okay, what if Bucky Barnes was a kid, but then give us a new origin story for Bucky Barnes instead of the comic book version? Give us the actual movie version, but then make it a kid. Make it some kid that Steve Rogers had a relationship with because he's like a nephew or something. Like you, that would turn the table. What if Bucky Barnes was related to Steve Rogers? Like these are weird things that no, they don't exist in the comic and they don't exist in the MCU. But it mixes a little bit of the comic, it mixes a little bit of MCU, and then we have a great story. They're trying to go for these crazy, crazy stories that are brand new that are okay, but you're basically saying the MCU is the only world that exists now. Screw the comics, which they still comics. Prime example, I have a comic here called Seven Samurai, which I'm going to try to see if I can show it on screen. By Deadpool, nope, it just covers up things. It just covers up things, which I will show that in the background on my other videos, the Vault videos. But basically, it's just a weird thing where they just don't want to give the love for those. Now, as far as stories in here, there are a few good ones. Again, I feel like Kahori's story is probably the most fun because it's new, it's inventive, it's exciting. But like every other story, I feel it falls short because they want to keep pushing things from another story, and instead of making this each episode its own thing, they want to make an anthology out of this. And what I mean by that is this: they brought back in the last episode all the stuff that happened from the first What If, the zombies, all that kind of stuff. The old What If comic books were just one shots. That's it. It wasn't a series. It wasn't a thing. As fans of What If, we all had those one shots, and then we moved on to a new story that just didn't exist within each other. They didn't come together as one. Why are you forcing this whole they got to come together? No, the watcher watches things in a different reality. When you start combining these things, you're not making what if is. I know that sounds weird saying it that way, but it's true. Like What If is losing what if made it so great. What If was single issues of different stories that happened that did not connect together. What if Wolverine killed Hulk? What if I can't think of it. That's the first one that popped in my head. Like these are of stories that it happens one time, it's done. There's no connection to the other one, and you always have the one thing that's always the same thing each one, the Watcher. But this is like, oh, we got to pull Captain Carter from another world to bring her in this world, so it makes sense why it's now 1402 and Captain Carter's there. What? None of the other characters' story then made sense. Like you're doing this whole time thing, but then it becomes its own story, and you're basically making another dimension story, which we already have in there. What If is supposed to change something in a way that would not be able to work in a whole story? Because the great thing about What If is they would literally kill off characters that you would never see kill off in a regular story. Do that here. What if Captain Carter died? People be like, I'm sad. Well, that's why it's called a what if. It exists in the boundaries of being something that you're never going to see in the movie, in the comic book, or anything like that. And then it's just a one shot, and it happens, and it's done. And it's over with. Again, what if Wolverine kills Hulk? Hulk's dead. There's no coming back. There's no another story where he comes back and he's now part of this whole anthology thing. No, he's dead. That's it. That's all there is to it. This is why I feel like What If is missing. There's no casualties because they want to keep a storyline going, and they don't realize that what was so great about What If is that there was consequences to changing the storyline that made things so different. There are no consequences in this What If, and that's what I miss about What If. What If showed me what happens if this character was not involved and destroyed everything. What if this character messed up and did this? You're still even the evil version, the evil version of Doctor Strange, you're keeping it involved. This is what's bugging people, I feel. I mean, maybe I'm the only one that's bugged by this, but I think people might agree with me. This is what's bugging us about your What If. You want to make it this series. When we came into this thinking, as the What If original fans, that you were going to do one episode and that character would no longer be part of it no more. Another episode, that character would be no part of it. You could do two Thor episodes where it's totally different realities, and Thor doesn't get Mjolnir. Thor ends up switching spots with Loki. These are whole different stories that would not come together, that you can just make as separate stories, and then they never come to fruition again. They don't connect, they don't nothing. They want to connect these like it's some kind of anthology series. Think of these as Twilight Zone episodes. That's what if comic books were. It's like an episode of Twilight Zone. They didn't connect. You had the Watcher, which was the guy that narrated Twilight Zone. It said, "What if?" Da, 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 in the Twilight Zone. Do do do. That's what our What If was. It was like episodes of Twilight Zone. We're not getting that here. The Watcher was the guy that saw everything, like the one guy on the Twilight Zone. But now he's got to be a part of it just as much as every character that's in the next episode. Listen, I like Kahori, all right? But now you've introduced her with only in the What If series. So now What If is no longer a What If series in my eyes. It's just a new version of Marvel in another dimension with different characters. I grew up loving What If. And I know the people that have never read the comic books are going to be like, well, it's such a great series. I get it. If you've never experienced What If, this is probably amazing. But if you've experienced What If, the comic books, and you came in with the idea of what If is, this is not What If. This is the problem with What If. They still want to make it a connected universe. Leave it alone. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm really upset. I like this season better because I like to use some of the characters. So yes, season 2 in my eyes is better than season 1. But it's not that much. You guys are screwing up What If. And I feel like if you're in the comments and you've actually watched my videos before, or you're a fan like I am, and like Campo, JD, if you guys are watching, tell me if I'm wrong in the bottom. I have no problem admitting that I'm wrong here, but I feel like that's something that's missing with What If, is that they're making it way too much of some kind of series, and we're not getting our one-shots like the Twilight Zone. We're not getting our... I'm just frustrated. Marvel, what if you actually did What If the way it did in the comic books? And I'm not talking about the actual What If stories. I mean, just give us those one-shot stories. And that makes it entertaining. That means every single episode does not feel like it's connected. And when you're trying to connect things, I don't want it. I want my What If. What if you fix this? I think it's too late, because I thought, what if you fixed it in season 2? But what if you did the same thing you did last season? I don't think you guys learned your lesson. You guys didn't learn. Anyway, guys, that's my review of What If season 2. If you agree or disagree with me, at all, comment below. I want to know what you guys' thoughts on What If. Again, highlight was actually her episode, Kahori's episode. But again, I mean, she's part of What If. She isn't actually a character in the comic books or anything like that. I actually had to look her up because I was like, I've never heard of this character. Is this a new character I've never seen in the comic books? Come to find out, it's a new character altogether made for What If. She is not part of the comics, and she's the best thing of this. Problem is now with her in there and the way they're doing this is no longer What If to me. If I look at it past not being What If, it's enjoyable. But as a fan of What If, rename it. I want you to rename all this. This is not What If. This is just a Marvel multiversal. Here's another universe for you to have fun with. Bye. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Peace.